Emma is 7 now, and something big has changed over the last year. When she was little, she didn't really notice the other kids at all. She was just happy in her own world, but now she wants other kids. She looks for them, she runs up to them, she wants to connect, and that brings a whole new set of challenges. This video is about what it's like when an autistic child finally becomes interested in people, but doesn't yet have the communication or social tools to make friends in the way other kids expect. Something's changed, and it was harder than I expected. For a very long time, Emma didn't really notice other children. She was just in her own world. She was playing next to the other kids, and she didn't really bother if they were there or not. And she wasn't lonely or anything. She was just content in her own world. And then slowly, like really slowly, something has started to change. At first, she was just watching the other kids a bit more, and she started to be interested in what everyone's doing. And she was smiling near them, and she would clap or smile near them. She just gradually started to be more aware of the other kids that surrounded her.
Kit Kat is.
Kit Kat is?
It's in a...
Where is Kit Kat?
Where's Kit Kat? Kit Kat is in a...
Kit Kat is in the
neighbor's
garden.
Yeah.
She didn't suddenly learn how to make friends. She learned that other people exist and that she wants to connect with them. It is a huge developmental step, but it is actually much harder to manage her behavior around children, because now she wants the connection, but she doesn't have the tools for it. She doesn't know the rules. She doesn't know how to begin, continue, or end an interaction. And this is what led to what happened at the soft play the other day. Just a quick one, if you find this video useful, then consider subscribing to our channel for more SEN-focused family content. This is something quick, easy and free that you can do to support our channel. Thank you. Emma wants the connection, she really does, but the way she tries to connect, it doesn't always make sense to the other children. So what happened the other day? We went to the soft play, and she started to run up to the children to say hello from very close and get into their face. And the problem starts when they don't say hello back. She would run up to them, try to grab their face like this, to turn their cheek towards her. And it's not because she's aggressive, she just doesn't understand that eye contact and personal space works very differently for other children than her. And the other issue is that because her language is still developing, she is having trouble asking the kids what their name is. So what she does is she walks up to them, and then she points to their face like this. And then she's just saying like, this is, and she doesn't know how to say, what's your name? And then I tried to model it for her, how to say, what's your name? But then she would just do the same. And she would look at me, not the child. And she would just like, what's your name? Like this. The other child obviously would get distressed or scared or just confused what's going on. This is very, very difficult because we have to keep a very close eye and supervise the interaction. There's usually a mixed reaction from the children to Emma. Sometimes there are kids who actually let Emma interact with them. She loves to hold the other kid's hand and just walk around with them. But obviously, not every child is going to let her do that. We usually go to a soft play inside the leisure center. There's usually the same group of kids around. They already know Emma. And last time we went, some of the kids took the cushions from the sofas. And what they did was they built a fortress out of those cushions. There was one child who was kind of like a ringleader. And what this child did is he was encouraging the other kids to push Emma out, and he was like screaming, quick, Emma's coming, block her, don't let her in. And it was just honestly heartbreaking. So I went there. In the end, I climbed into the soft play with her and took her to the other side. And I went up the top of the soft play and just go everywhere holding her hand. She doesn't understand or realize what the other kid's doing. And she just keeps trying to go to them. And when they block her out like this, intentionally, it's really, really hard to watch. And after a while, there was a lovely little girl who let Emma hold her hand, and they were just walking around and just going all around the soft play together. It can honestly be heartbreaking when you see that the other kids try to treat Emma like a monster and try to chase her away. But once I've got there as well, and I started to play with Emma and everything, some children from the previous group came up to us and then just started to say, yeah, we know her, this is Emma, and then like tried to introduce her to the other kids. And then at that point, Emma was really happy happy, and then she started clapping and just doing her vocal stimming as well. And the child asked, why is she clapping? Why is she making a noise? And then I just said, she's just happy to see you. And he was so lovely. He just said, oh yeah, that makes sense. I think what's the takeaway from this story is, however heartbreaking it is when the kids not have the best reception to Emma's differences, the situation shouldn't be approached in a way that's confrontational. It's best to join in, engage with them, and try to educate them. Just try to guide the interaction instead of becoming hostile and trying to blame the other children. Maybe they've never seen an autistic child before, or maybe they haven't seen a child with language difficulties before, or even if they had, these children are very young, between the ages of 5 and 8. It's obviously more difficult for them to understand the differences. I think the best approach is to educate them and to help narrate the interaction instead of getting upset and taking it as a personal attack. Because even for neurotypical kids, there's always going to be other kids picking on them or treating them less than how they should. It's better to approach it in a positive way, and then you're likely to have a better outcome as well. Because if I was walking up to them and then start arguing them and calling them out on it or everything, then I think it would just widen this gap between Emma and the other children, and they would probably see her in an even more negative way. I think it worked out really well in the end. And then something else happened that really stayed with me. So once the kids started to leave, Emma repeatedly came up to me, and with sweetest voice, she was just keep saying, "Mommy, can I have some more kids, please? More kids, kids, please, more kids." And it was just so difficult because she finally wanted the connection. She was desperate to play with the other kids. And once they started leaving, she just couldn't understand that I can't just make kids appear out of nowhere. I can't control who comes and who goes. I can just snap my finger and then have a bunch of kids come and join her. So that is something that we still have to work on for her to understand how these things work. This is one of the first times when she started to actively seek out other children and actually ask me for other kids. It took me off guard a little bit. And she doesn't understand why they disappear. She doesn't understand that they have to go home with their own mummies and daddies and everything. This stage is confusing. She's no longer isolated, but she's not included either. I've learned that she needs help. Not just supervision, but translation. Someone to explain her to the other children and the other children to her. Sometimes that means stepping in. Sometimes it means staying close. And sometimes it means being her bridge to the world. If you're in this stage too, or heading towards it, you're not alone. I'd really love to hear from other parents. Have you experienced this shift? How do you support your child when they want friends, but they don't know how to navigate the situation? If you find this video useful, then consider subscribing for more SEN-focused family content. Thank you.